Well, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. It is 8:54 a.m. I was supposed to start my new job today. I got all of my equipment except for my computer. So I can't start yet. So I'm waiting on that. So I thought, oh, let me jump on here and kind of catch you guys up on what's been happening the past couple days. Because I know that all of you aren't on my Facebook, and so you don't know everything that's happening. So I have been on vacation because I ended my one job to start my new job, and I had a whole bunch of days in between. And so I thought, okay, this is my time to reset, refocus, redo what I need to do. I knew I had something else coming up. There's probably some more storms that were going to be coming. I knew that I was on my next level of healing, and I didn't quite know what that was going to look like yet. And, but I knew that I wasn't feeling right. And so, which tells me that there was a shift that was coming. And I had said in one of my posts before about the eclipse, and once the eclipse happens, people's true colors were going to start to come out. And I said that. And I went, okay, remember what you said in your video. Practice what you preach. You know what I mean? And so I went, okay. And sure as heck, here it came. I was in one of our local stores. I have had a person who, for lack of a better terms, has a really big issue with me, and has had an issue since day one of me moving out here, and has caused a lot of problems for me within this community. And their problem lies on jealousy. And it's plain, and everybody sees it, and everybody knows it. And they have watched my transformation in the past year, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so I have now become, I guess, what you want to call a threat in some ways. And the wording that I'm using, please understand that spiritually, I know deeper of what's happening. So when I say these words to you, these are on a very surface level of what I'm saying to you, but understand that this goes a lot deeper, okay? And again, this is my journey that I am sharing with you. I try really hard to respect other people's journeys in telling my journey, but you have to see it from different perspectives, okay? This person's very broken. This person has got a lot of trauma. This person has addictions. This person has some issues that are happening with them. That's on a deeper level. So going into this, and you know that, you try really, really hard to be the better person in the situation. But there comes a time where enough is enough. And there comes a time when you say, I'm not doing this anymore. You allow the behavior for so long until it is no longer okay with you. If this is making any sense to you. So I have moved away from this person. I detached myself from this person. I moved on. I've done everything that I needed to do so that this would settle, so this would stop, but I live in a small town. So you're bound to hear things, see things, know things. It just happens in a small town. This is where your integrity has to be held in the town. This is where you have to learn to hold your own and your core of who you are, regardless of what's happening around you. I walk into one of our local stores this week, and that person, as I'm walking out, is walking in and literally says, I'm wearing my overalls and I have my sports bra on, and I do that a lot. We live a lake life. So we live a lake life, and it's humid, and it's whatever out here. And so it's like, this is how some of us live. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how else to explain that. It's not me trying to show off my body. I'm proud of my body. I'm proud of where I've been, you know, But I'm not doing it to get attention from people. I'm just living the lake life. And so I walk out of the convenience store and this person walks in and says, "Put some clothes on, fat ass." I can't make this shit up, y'all. I cannot make this up. And I got in my car and I just started laughing. And I went, this is absolutely phenomenal to me. That blew my mind. And I went, this is the mindset on what I'm dealing with. I went, okay. And I went for a drive and I cooled myself down and I said, oh, hell no. I'm done. And I very politely, as well as I possibly could in my human moments, messaged them and told them to stop their jealousy crap, to knock it off, that I was done with this. I don't know what your problem is with me. I've never done anything to you. I've never said anything to you, but you continue to go after me. Her response was absolutely beautiful. And it was exactly what I knew was coming. And all I needed was for her to do it. And I went, there's drugs, there's alcohol, everything you could possibly think of was in that response. And I went, that's where we're at with this person. And so it was pointless to continue on with the conversation. I put my dig in. I had to go to that level for them to understand who I was and to stop messing with me. I tried for a year, y'all, to be nice to this person. I tried for a year to let this go. I tried for a year to be the better person in the situation, and you pushed me to a point that I was done. And so I ended up calling peeps. I have certain peeps for certain reasons. I called one of my girls who I can get ghetto with and totally gets me and totally understands that part and understands why. I have a spiritual person that I go to and go, explain to me spiritually what's happening. And then I have a person that I go to logically who I say, am I okay? Did I do this? You get. So I have different people that help me different. So I call my peeps immediately after I did all of this and worked out where I needed to do, how I needed to go, so everything was aligned and I moved on. You know what I mean? I ended up going to the lake. I ended up letting it go. I ended up going, it doesn't freaking matter anymore. I'm done. I have another person that I have also been dealing with who is very, very narcissist. And I think doesn't realize that they are. And I have very kindly, in some of our conversations, have pointed out some things that are narcissistic behaviors to them. Well, like I told you, when the eclipse would happen, people's true colors would come out. And they did. And I basically said, you proved my point. And I laid into them as well. And I had to say some things to them for the way that I was being treated and the way that was not okay with me and the way that you're not going to disrespect me in that way. And you're not going to say one thing to me and do something else because your words do not align with your actions. And that is called gaslighting. And that is a narcissistic behavior where you throw breadcrumbs to keep me at a level that everything is okay so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do on your end. So your selfishness and your behavior was getting attention in the wrong ways, and you thought that you could juggle what you were juggling, and that I was naive enough or that I was Christian enough to accept that. No. Priscilla Shirer, I don't know if you know who she is. She's a black woman and she's very dominant. She's very bold and she's a public speaker. If you haven't checked out some of her videos, you really, really should. One of her videos, and I don't know the name of it and I'm sorry, it's kind of one of those you just have to scroll. She's a lot, so I apologize. But she talks about We're nice until we're not nice anymore. We're nice until you literally attack us for a purpose. And it's kind of like you intentionally came after us. God is not going to allow that to continue. And God is going to give you a boldness, and he's going to give you a strength where you can still do it maturely, still do it with kindness, still do it with wisdom, but man, you're going to hit their core. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when you say it with truth, they can't fight that. There's no comeback from that. There's nothing that they can say to justify their actions or continue to make their excuses when you blatantly put it in front of them. Their reaction does not reflect on you. And I have said this time and time again in my videos. When you discern, when your Holy Spirit gives you a check of something is or isn't right, and you go with it, God will protect you and give you a strength and a boldness to say what you need to say, how you need to say it, and you can walk away guilt-free, sleeping well at night because you're healthy, you're happy, you did it right, you had God, he was there, he guided you, he gave you the words. When you can do something and walk away guilt-free, that's God. When you are up at night, when you're tossing and turning, when you can't sleep good, you're carrying something. Your body starts to ache. You don't feel good. A lot of that is guilt. A lot of that is something is not right. God is trying to talk to you any way that he can get your attention to say, do you keep want to going? You keep want to do this? Do you keep want to go through this cycle? Are you not? How rock bottom does God need to take you for you to see what he's trying to show you? You reap what you sow. It's biblical. Some people call it karma. We do not have to do anything based on somebody else's response. That is not our job. That is not our purpose. Our purpose is to lead them to God, so that God saves them. We are not the saviors. God is. We guide. We help. We show it. But it's not our job to fix it. It's our job to fix ourselves. It's our job to work on ourselves. That's where people say we're selfish. I posted something about how they, and I wish I had it in front of me, but it's on my phone and I video on my phone, and I that's really hard to do. But if you're watching me on Facebook, it makes a lot of sense. But I had posted about people say that you need to surrender. And people say that you need to not talk about your accomplishments, not talk about your wins, because that's being selfish, or that's being... It is not. That's us being proud of where we're at, and we should all be very proud of ourselves. And as believers, we're showing God, and God is getting that glory. God is getting, everybody's going, do you see what's happening in their lives? Do you see what God is doing in their lives? Holy crap. Have you watched her journey? Have you seen what God has done for her physically? Man, if you knew what she used to look like to what she looks like now, holy cow. Man, I remember when she was doing this and when she was doing that, and now she's talking about this and she's talking about that. Your perspective changes. How you see God changes as you go in your journey. The jealousy, that's all I can say. I don't know how else to say. Your anger, your jealousy, your hatefulness, your word curses. What comes out of your mouth matters. Because you are either going to lift somebody up or you're going to open a portal for the devil to come in and say all those things, and those stick in that person's head. When you have to put on your armor of God and you have to go into battle, all that should bounce off of you. All of that people are saying, all of that, when you are going into the devil's, Daniel is in the lion's den. When Paul is in prison, who are they worshiping? Who are they looking at? What are they doing? When you read the Bible about people who are going into war, when you read about Moses and what he had to go through and what they are doing in their time, in their era, put on your armor. And all of those bullets, all of those attacks, everything that comes at you will bounce off because you are going boldly with God. You are standing firm in your truth and you are unfreaking shakeable. Know who you are. And nobody can take that from you. I have been saying this, and you are watching me in my journey have peace, find joy in my storms. I can only control my response. I cannot control their behavior. It hurts. I've cried. I've trusted where I shouldn't have trusted. I gave people the benefit of the doubt. I did biblically what I was supposed to until I couldn't any longer. For now. Till I heal. Till I work out. Give me some space. Give them some space. Let's figure some shit out. Let's figure out what's going on here. I know where you're at, but I also know where I'm at. And I'm climbing. I'm climbing a mountain, and I'm focusing, and I keep going, and I'm going to keep doing. I have a new job coming. I have some things that I have to focus on that I'm not going to be distracted by the devil's games. I have goals. I have things that I want to do. It doesn't matter who's in my life, how it's in my life, what, who, and where, and when. Does not matter until it needs to matter, and God shows me that it matters. People are going to come and go out of your life, and there's a purpose in that. There's a reason in that. We have talked about this, and we have talked about this, that as you go in your journey, God is going to line people up for certain purposes in your life. I learned an incredible lesson this past week about myself in this, and who I am, who I truly, really am in those moments. But you have been watching my journey for a whole year, so in those moments, I'm always learning who I am. And I'm learning a new part about myself. I'm learning a new core. I'm learning a little bit deeper about who I am and what I stand for and what I want in my life. I don't bow down to you. You do not put any value in my life. I will pray for you. I have been praying that God heals these people. I am praying that, because that's all I've got, y'all. The first and the last thing we have is prayer. And if we're going to forgive, if we're going to keep going, if we are going to be godlike in our journey, we keep going. And we leave them to God. You don't have to have your apology, because you already know who the author is. You already know what God is doing in them, because you've been there. You got to let them, so that they can get here with you. That's the whole purpose of this. When I need guidance in my storm moments, when I have to grasp onto who God is, when the bullets are coming at me, when the attacks are coming at me, when I know that I have to go into a battle, I read Psalms. Any Psalms will give me peace. Any Psalms will remind me who God is, remind me the battle that I'm facing, remind me of why I'm facing the battles. I will become still. I will reflect on what God has already done for me and where I am now. And that gives me my hope. That helps me. You guys, I crave my healing moments. At first, they're scary. At first, you don't want to do this. At first, you think your heart's going to break. At first, you think you're going to die. Right? But when you, no matter how big or how small this is, wherever you're at in your journey, is a victory. Maybe one day you picked up the alcohol, the drug, right? So you went, I failed. I did it. I tried my hardest. I didn't do, you have another day. God gives you grace. God gives you another day to try this again. So maybe you went into the store and you bought the beer, but you never opened it this time. That's a victory. Maybe you bought the beer and then you dumped it in the sink, or the alcohol or the drugs, and you stuffed them down the toilet, or whatever the case may be. That's a victory. You'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes, but you deal with right now. And they talk about this in AA. They talk about this in Celebrate Recovery. They talk about one day at a time. And sometimes, depending on where you're at in your journey, it's 1 minute at a time, you guys. Physically. Maybe you got up at 6 a.m. and you were conquering the gym, and you were on it. And the next day you couldn't even get yourself out of bed. That's okay. It's okay. You didn't fail. You just have a hiccup. You're working through something. But you remember when you did get up at 6 a.m. how accomplished you felt. But it doesn't mean that you're ready to do that every day yet. It's a work in progress. It's hard work. God, you guys. You will always fight physically, mentally, and spiritually. You will always. It's never ending. That is the cycle of life. and downs. We will have our hills and our valleys. We will flow through the river. We're gonna have. I go back and read my videos. You're gonna have a log that's gonna get in front of you, and you're gonna have dynamite. You're gonna have to blow up the beaver's den. You know that you're gonna have to do certain things to get through certain obstacles at certain times in your life. But the Bible guides us on how to maneuver through life, and Jesus did it on earth. He is our human guide on how to do this. And we thank God every single day for bringing his son down to show us how to do this. We will never be like Jesus. We will never be that perfect. And God knows that. That is the mercy and the grace of God. He already knows we're going to screw this up. He already knows, but he's going, are you ready to be tested now? He's going to test you to know if you're ready for more. If you can handle what he hands you and you pass the test, then he can give you more. I'm going to give you a great example. When we're young and we're learning how to ride, we start off with a 3-wheel, a tricycle, right? Like a big wheel. We had big wheels back then. I don't know what the kids drive nowadays, scooters. I don't know what they do. But we had big wheels. And then you get a bike with training wheels. And then sooner or later, you learn to ride the bike so good and so fast, people are like, let's take the training wheels off. And you take the training wheels off, and it's like you never even had training wheels. Suddenly, you just know how to ride a bike. And once you learn how to ride a bike, you never forget. But life happens and things happen and you gain weight and you do this and you do that. And so when you get on a bike again, it's fearful for the first time because you're going, God, I haven't been on a bike in years. And it hurts. And you're going, God, I don't remember it hurting this bad, or I don't remember it being like this. And so, but you want to ride a bike more. I'm just using this as an example. You can use a treadmill. You can do whatever. This is the greatest example that I have in my head right now. I don't have papers in front of me. So you ride the bike, and sooner or later you want to ride more, and you want to be out in nature, and you want to do this because you're healing and you're doing better and you're liking it. So you find things that you like. I like kayaking. I like being outdoors. I like the sand on my feet. I like the water. But find what you like and you'll keep going. Ride the bike. Get back on the bike. The addictions are going to loop you into a hole, into a pit, into destruction. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting others. Do you want to keep doing this? Do you want to keep being under the devil's wing? When you see everybody else having a fruitful life, are you going to sit in your pity party and go and be jealous and be angry and be envy and have all of this stupid stuff attached to you and all this bondage and all these word curses that you're putting on yourself and you're putting on other people? And what happens is like-minded people come together, so you're going to partner with people who are going to talk their crap about you? And you want to talk about other people, so you're going to go to those people who are willing to join you in that gossip, in that talk, in that negativity? I've been on both sides of this, you guys. I'm not preaching, I'm not telling you something you don't already know, and I'm definitely not talking to you from a holier place. Let me just tell you. It's hard. That's been my week of my vacation. on trying to refocus and reheal. But God had to test me. God had to put some things in front of me. God had to say, are you really ready for what's next? Because I have some things that I want to do for you. I have some leadership skills I want to give you. I have some things I am making these YouTube videos, so obviously I'm going into the public eye more. Obviously there's things happening. I have to put on my armor a little bit more often. But be humble and be kind and figure out that balance in my life. And my sister sent me this amazing post, and I posted it today. And I don't know it word for word, and I'm sorry. But it had said that, again, it was beautifully said about my value is not off of other people's projection of me and how they react and what they do. It was everything that I've been talking about. I was like, God, that is brilliant. Your opinion of me doesn't matter. You know, that person attacked me this week, and she went out and she goes, nobody wants you here. Everybody wants you to move. Nobody can stand you. Nobody can do. And I just went, and my response was, I don't care what people think of me. Especially people like you. I didn't know how else to word that. And I had to go to her level, y'all, and it was mean. And I'm sure that it came out totally mean. But I had to hit her at the core of, you don't value what you say, and what other people and your peeps think of me has no value on me, because you guys are being poisoned by drugs and alcohol and things that are not good and not healthy. And I've watched you all for a year go into a deeper hole. But you've all watched me come out of a hole. So when you want to come at me, and this is the second time this week that I've been told that I'm mental. Thank you, God, that I'm human enough to be mental, because we're all mental in some way, and we all have issues in some way. So thank you for the reminder of my humility, that I am mental, and that I have issues, and that I have trauma, just like everybody else does. But here's the difference, sweetheart, between you and me. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. And I'm healthy, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it's for you too. And it's for everybody. But you have to stop talking the word curses to yourself. And you have to stop talking the word curses to other people. Because I've seen their hearts. And this is where, as an empath, as a believer, is really, really hard. But that's why you pray for them. And this is where the boundary comes in. And this is where you want to start questioning whether or not I'm a true believer of God. And you want to start to question whether or not I'm not being Christian-like, because we're supposed to forgive. I'm not angry. I'm hurt. Learn to use the right words to understand the feeling that you're feeling. And why are you feeling that? You hurt for them. You hurt because you go, I know why you said that. Look at somebody who's recovering. A recovering addict, a recovering meth head, a recovering whatever. Don't you think that they stop and reflect and they go, man, I was not a good person. And they have to soak that in and they have to deal with that for themselves? That's really, really hard to do, you guys. We've all been here, haven't we? So when you're getting attacked and when things are coming at you and people are being mean and how do you still show kindness? How do you still be vulnerable enough to be a safe place for them? Know where they're at when they project themselves and who they are in that moment at you. Because doesn't God do that for us? Doesn't he show us grace and mercy in our stupidity? We all have a purpose. We've all been through stuff that gives us a purpose. Somebody is not better than somebody else. Somebody's just learned some lessons. Some people just got more mature. Some people have just gotten wiser. It doesn't make us better than you. It just means we worked at it. So work at it. Quit judging. Quit being angry that you're not where someone else is, because you can get there. You got to put the work in. You got to do it. Keep going. No matter what this looks like, keep going. Your prayer, your blessing, your miracle, they're all available to you. I don't know when. I don't know how. We're on God's timeline. None of us really know what that means yet. We don't know what God's timeline looks like. But everything that you need where you're at will be provided for you if you trust him. I'm going to end this here. This has been my past couple days, you guys. I love you.